So I went to go get a glass of water within a mason jar because everybody knows that the person who drinks water from a mason jar is a superior human being. Okay. Okay. All jokes aside, let's get into it. You may be like, Lonnie, why is this video titled what it's titled? I'll get into that. Something that has been interesting me recently is a specific part of the brain. This part of the brain is called the anterior midcingulate cortex. I'm still practicing saying the word. This is probably my 20th take trying to say this word without stuttering, and I finally did it. I did a whole notes research tab on this, trying to see the correlation it has toward the achievement of goals and towards self discipline. I'll put the link or download or whatever for that down in the description. But let me take you guys into my personal notes, which is the exact same one that's going to be linked below, and show you guys. Right here, I was about to go in and post this right here as a link. I don't know, as a download link, post it in the community page. I probably still will. But I just wanted to bring you guys into my personal notes right here and break it down. So the anterior midcingulate cortex. For anybody that doesn't know how to say that, anterior midcingulate cortex, also known as the aMCC. Now, this is a very, very interesting part of the brain. This is a little different than my regular videos. However, I just wanted to touch base on this topic. When reading about this and studying it, I realized it is a specific part of the brain that grows whenever you put it under pressure. Now, what is this specific pressure? This pressure is referred to commonly as self-discipline. When you do the things you don't want to do, this specific part of your brain actually expands and it grows. And by expanding and growing, what does it do in turn? Well, it allows you to take on greater tasks pertaining to that self-discipline. Whether that be cold showers, early 5 a.m. runs, doing the work you don't want to do when you need to do it, getting into the gym, meditating, all of those sorts of things. When you do those things, when you don't want to do them, the specific part of your brain, the aMCC, it grows. Now, I wanted to see what correlation this had toward trading and toward just goal achievement in general. When looking at this, I realized an issue for me personally is consistency. There's a lot of people nowadays trying to hop onto the next bandwagon in trend, whether that be winter arc, summer arc. Shoot, there's probably going to be an Easter arc now. At this point, there might as well be an arc for everything. I don't know. But for you guys that are just recalling, winter arc started a month ago. How many people already forgot about it? It's more so a trend that people are trying to hop on in order to escape their reality. However, I find a lot of the times we're not trying to escape our reality or change our reality in the right way. We try to drop everything immediately and throw in 50 new habits when we haven't even practiced and gotten to the point to where we can even master one. So when going into this, this is a full case study on it. This is my Obsidian Notes file thingy of this. However, I wrote here, and I took this quote from Reddit. You guys may be like, Reddit? Yes, Reddit. Let me quickly read this so it makes sense. The anterior midcingulate cortex. It is also noted that discipline is well supported in the literature to be in the anterior midcingulate cortex, so improving activity in the brain region should improve discipline/tenacity. There was a study where participants did a difficult cardio regimen for 6 months and had an increased size of their aMCC. And he extrapolated extrapolated that discipline is a sort of muscle you can train. Doing hard things, requiring discipline increases your discipline. And it sounds so simple. You're like, well, duh. But a lot of us don't understand that. And instead of trying to push slightly to our new limit, we stay where we are. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you always need to be pushing more and more and more and more. But it does mean continuing to do the things you don't want to do even when you don't want to do them. I'll say that again. It means doing the things you don't want to do when you don't want to do them. It's as simple as that. Now, this is super, super simple, but people get it confused. And I get it confused too. Let's look at time. Regarding doing the things we don't want to do when we need to do them, this is an everyday thing. You will have days where you're motivated, and you will have days where you're just fresh out the gate, you're driven. You wake up, you're like, I'm ready to get at it. Let's kill it. And then you'll have days where I'm like, I don't want to get up out of bed. I don't want to do the work I want to do. I want to consume cheap dopamine. That in and of itself, by you sticking to the regimen you are doing, it allows you to continue to expand this part of your brain. Now, note, I don't think it just continues to expand till your brain looks like Megamind. For the people that don't know who Megamind is, I don't think your brain will expand to look like Megamind's, but maybe that's what you want. I don't know, right? Okay, so going back to this. What in the world? What is this? Oh, hell no. Going back to, let me shrink this, the obsidian. Now, that's the first part of it. In this paper, we will review evidence supporting this view, focusing on how the aMCC plays a central role in establishing tenacity due to its position in the intersection of multiple intrinsic networks. aMCC can integrate signals related to I'm not dyslexic. Dang it, I'm just skipping these words. I'm going to study these words in my free time. Anywho, and sensory integration. We will argue that this uniquely connected position allows the aMCC to weigh predicted energy requirements against now he's calling me. 1 second, I'm recording a YouTube video. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. So let's get into it. I stripped this. I ripped it from Reddit. And what did I rip specifically? This quote right here. Someone commented, replied to this post. I don't think anyone has solved the willpower problem. There's no hack or quick solution to train and increase your discipline. One of the few things I think everyone tends to agree on is the importance of reducing friction, or activation energy, as they like to call it. Basically, make it as easy as possible to start the task. For example, and then he lists some examples below. By the way, I don't know if I already said this, but if you want to check this out, it's linked in the description. I don't know if it's like a download file. Don't worry, I'm not going to put a virus in it. I don't know how to do that. If I could, I would. Anyway, it's a joke. So, he wrote examples of it. And I asked myself, well, within my own personal life, when have I found the most success pushing toward my goals? And I realized it was in that obsession phase. But I feel like that obsession phase is so subjective, because we can say that obsession phase, but there's something else that drives that obsession phase. And I realized for me within that obsession phase, it was the ease of being able to go from one difficult task to another, whether that be from a 6-hour deep work session to the gym, right? Or whatever the case is. Just being able to almost hopscotch over the periods when I had lack of friction, right? Or sorry, when I had friction toward me and the other tasks I was looking to achieve. That was it in specific. But I wanted to break it down even more, because yes, friction is something that has us procrastinate toward the achievement of our goals, or actually being able to put in work. But there has to be more than that. There has to be a way to dilute this friction. There has to be a way to make it easier in order to be able to achieve your goals. Now, I did some more research on the aMCC. You could go in and look at it in the description below. But like I said earlier, things that allow growth for the aMCC, like challenging exercise, public speaking, hard conversations like this, competitive sports, cold exposure, learning something new and challenging, and resisting cravings. All that ties into the growth of it. But now, if you want that growth of it, but also want it to be equivocal toward the achievement of your goals, we have to look at the friction that lies in between. The friction between you starting a task, that period right there is what causes people to procrastinate. It is what causes people to never get the work they need to get done. For example, yesterday I had woken up, I did a full note on the blueprint to profitability. You could see it's 3,600 words. It's a lot. It doesn't look like a lot, but it's a lot. Anywho, so I did this whole note. It took around, I started at 8:41, I was done at 12. So it took however many hours, 3.5. Right after that, well, what did Lonnie do? Well, he went and watched 6 episodes of Demon Slayer. Now, you may be like, Lonnie, I can't believe you did that. You're supposed to be a good role model. Well, yes. But however, after watching all of them, I was thinking to myself for the rest of the night, well, how can we limit exposure to cheap dopamine? And how can we make it easier from going to a task and immediately transitioning to the next? And now you may be wondering what I did for the rest of the night, because that was throughout the day. Then later I went to the gym and I came home and I said I was going to do more work. But what did I end up doing? I ended up looking at the presidential election until I went to sleep. Not that I cared, not that I ever cared, and I don't know why I cared, but I was just curious enough to look. It was something that distracted me from the work I needed to do because there was friction there. But I wanted to see how to reduce this friction as much as possible. Well, this friction is made when? This is the conclusion I came up to. And now, note, I'm still studying this and I'm still expanding my knowledge on this specific topic because I want this to be a main factor by understanding this and putting in the work behind it, but understanding the root cause of that friction that so many people have toward the achievement or simply towards starting working toward their goals. I want to understand that. And I want to understand how to take advantage of this right here, this mind, or how to hack it. So with friction, I realized this friction is caused by decision fatigue. When you struggle and procrastinate toward a specific thing that you know you should be doing, it is due to decision fatigue. The average adult makes around 33 to 35,000 decisions a day subconsciously. You know, whether that be me recording this video right now, me thinking of the idea for this video, me going in and doing all this notes. All this was done today, by the way. So I've already utilized however many decision points. I call them brain points. Now, I've heard this term a lot, but I discarded it because I didn't think it was that important. Now, looking into it a little bit more, I realized the exhaustion point, because there is an exhaustion point to where your brain is just fried. You can still make decisions. However, the decisions won't be as high as quality as the ones from earlier, right? And that number is around 35,000. If you're someone like me and you're schizophrenic and you're crazy, you have 100,000 decisions in a day, right? So your brain finds every excuse to talk to the voices instead of actually doing the work you know you need to be doing. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not. Well, then again, I mean, the voices just get louder. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Sorry. Well. Anyway, I don't know what that was about, but brain points. Back on the main topic. So decision fatigue. This friction between you doing the work you know you need to be doing and sitting there procrastinating on it is due to decision fatigue. Now, how do we make better decisions? That is the question. How do we not overwhelm the brain? And or how do we take advantage of what in specifically? Our time. Our time. We know ourselves the best. And if you download the file and you look at it, you'll see I wrote this example for me, but you can take it as well. I'll show it in a second. But one thing I sat there and thought of was my own life. I was like, well, when does my mind tend to clock out mentally? I'm like, well, my mind typically clocks out at 12 p.m., 12, 1. Usually that's when my mind is fried with work. I'm ready to go out and live life, maybe touch grass, probably touch cement because I'm scared of grass. You know, whatever a day trader does, you know. Anyway, so that's the time around where my mind gets fried. But prior to that, I'm able to make clear, conscious decisions on the work I need to do in order to push me further toward my goals. Now, what my emphasis was how can we continue to stay within that flow state? What I found that works personally for me, and you will have to do this through failing and through making the bad decisions, you know, sitting there scrolling on TikTok for a day and realizing, shoot, I didn't really do much. I didn't do much, right? You have to, because it allows you to, something back when I used to play Fortnite, we would do in the comp scene was VOD review. Just like reviewing your trades, just like journaling, we would VOD review our gameplay in order to see where we could have improved. I call it VOD reviewing your life, right? Seeing where you work best and emphasizing deep work and focused work in those times. And then understanding when you can go live your life. So for example, I know from 6 a.m. to 12, I'm good to go. I'm just locked in, I'm focused. Now, from 12 to 3, my mind starts to go a little hazy. So what did I do? I changed my routine. I changed the time I go to the gym. Right now it's 2. I'm recording this video. I'm about to go to the gym. So I realized, okay, well, during this time, if I know my mind kind of goes out of focus, I can go to the gym. I realized for me personally, by me going to the gym, it gets me back into that flow state or gives me enough of a nudge to know, okay, before your effort level was here, now you just slightly decrease it, but you're still pacing. You're still on pace. When I come back from the gym, I realize typically I am tired. You can go in, like I said, read everything I wrote. I did a full case study on the aMCC. Very, very interesting. This definitely won't be the first one I do. However, when I go down here, we see the whole conclusion. My brain kind of tends to shut down because I'm tired from the gym. I don't know if that's because of sleep or just simply my body gets fatigued after the gym. However, one thing I found myself doing going into the night after that, I do one of two things. One, I'm either in a full focus flow state mood where I just discard my sleep schedule and I just work. I just get re-obsessed with it. Something just, fire gets reignited, right? Or I call it 50-50 work, where you're distracted half of the time and where you're actually working. This 50-50 work oftentimes is not quality work. So what was my solution? Well, I thought, okay, well, emphasize all of the work, all of the important brain points when your decision-making system in your brain isn't fatigued, and get all the work you need to get done. You know when you work best. So emphasize that, right? So I realized, okay, in the morning, utilize my brain points and utilize the lack of friction I have toward the achievement of my goals. And then utilize later within the night, whether I do one of two things, of course. If you need to get work done, get it done. But if you have, I call it light work that you don't need to be in such deep focus for, focus on pushing that toward the end of the day, where your brain points don't need to be as high in order for you to really be in flow state. Because once you're out of that flow state, it's hard to get back into that flow state. And we want to take full advantage of being within this flow state when we are within it, obviously toward the achievement of our goals. Now, focusing on the Charlie Munger effect of inverted thinking. This is what I wrote right here. If you do not want to grow your anterior midcingulate cortex, do these things. Make decisions after you've exhausted your brain with excessive decision making. Wait all day in order to get the important work done. Just like I said, wait till the end of the day. Procrastinate all day. And by the way, if you do that, your friction is already so built up, you won't do it at the end of the day, right? Create as much friction as possible between you and the objective you need to complete or accomplish. Meaning, procrastinate, wait, throw excuses in. Or, better yet, allow yourself to break out of that flow state. Allow yourself to get distracted by your phone. Allow yourself to sit there scroll social media while you're trying to do work. Keep doing that, right? Don't do the difficult things. Continue to stay within your comfort zone and do the bare minimum of work. This does not grow the aMCC. And if you don't want to grow the aMCC, keep doing this, right? Don't grow mentally by meditating and reading, because this also grows the aMCC. Don't do it. Don't do it, Continue to allow the voices in your head to take over than to tell you to do malicious activities. Not that I'm speaking from experience, I'm just saying, And don't read, Don't increase your knowledge. Don't become smarter. Stay low IQ. Am I low IQ? I think I may be. Anyways, focus on cheap dopamine, meaning, what do I mean by cheap dopamine? Focus on consuming cheap dopamine before you've earned the reward to. Meaning, if you're going to go buy a candy bar, hit the gym first. I have not been doing this. Well, silly me, I spent $4 on a pack of Sour Patch at a gas station. I think the Indians scammed me. They definitely did. $4 on a pack of Sour Patch? These Indians. I'm joking. I love my Indian people. Gotti. So, getting back into it. Focus on cheap dopamine. Focus on watching your Netflix show first, before doing the work you need to do, right? If you do that, I guarantee you won't grow the aMCC. And then lastly, tying into that, give yourself the reward before the work is done. If you really want to mess up your mind and your dopamine receptors, do this. Do this. Give yourself the reward before the work is done. If you're trying to get, if you're trying to hit 10K per month, right? And right now you're doing 5, and you want to live like you're living, you live at 10K per month. Buy all the flashy stuff now. Ruin your dopamine receptors. Ruin them. Just fry them. And I guarantee you will not grow the anterior midcingulate cortex. I guarantee you won't. Because you're not emphasizing that aspect of patience. It depends how you look at things. And so, once again, the download link is in the description if you guys want to go through, read it. I think it is very, very interesting. I've been focusing on note-taking recently. My focus throughout this week is emphasizing the process within it. Systems are very, very, very important. Very important. However, if you don't know the reasoning behind the systems are random. We need to have reasoning behind what we're doing. We need to understand the root. If we can understand the root, we know where to attack. We know where to attack. It's easy. It's easy. If poison ivy keeps growing, find the woman that keeps planting the poison ivy. And I'm joking. Not the woman. I'm talking about the plant, because plants have gender. Oh, wait. Trump won. Plants don't have gender anymore. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Wait. I can't identify as a cow anymore? Dang it. I was ready. I was about to transition. I was moo, get on all 4 legs. Do they have 4 legs? Yeah, they have. Get on all milk. You know, I was about to, but you know, then Trumpy won. You know, my friend texted me. He said we're either going to become super rich within the next 4 years and travel the world, or we are going to become super rich and get into war. Either way, we're still going to be rich. He is right. Anyway, I wonder if after those 4 years I can make my transition. I wonder how it would be being a farm animal. I think about that all the time. Maybe a shepherd dog. Or a little sheep. Bah! Bah, bah, bah. Bah. Anyway, so going into it, I just want to, brain dump on you guys. This is something I'm going to start doing just for fun because I like taking you guys into my mind. Taking you guys into my mind where you can get a grasp on what I'm actually focusing on, because I'm not only focusing on trading. Everybody's approach to their growth is different. Of course, mine is definitely a little bit different. I like studying everything. I like understanding my brain. I like understanding how this thing works. And I want to grow in more terms than just finances. I think it's important. I think it's important to grow in knowledge. I think it's important to grow in wisdom. I think it's important to grow physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, and all those aspects. I think if you're a kid with a bunch of money, you're just a loser, You're cool, you have a nice car. But, you don't have shotgun arms in order to hold that steering wheel. That's kind of lame. Like, imagine I had an AP on right now. It wouldn't look right because I have skinny wrists. That's why I need to start my first cycle. Just some thoughts. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Check the link in the description if you want to download the Obsidian file, PDF file. It's pretty valuable. Look into the anterior Midcingulate Cortex yourself. I think it's very, very valuable. I'll probably make more videos on it. But yeah, apart from that, peace. Love you guys. And sorry, the voices took over again.